Hannah here from CroStiCrochet Designs. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe using the buttons below. And please do ring that notification bell to be notified when I post new videos. Well, welcome to week 3 of our crochet along, our Christmas crochet along sampler blanket. Now, my apologies for not posting this yesterday. My day kind of ran away with me yesterday, so unfortunately I am posting this a day late, so my apologies for that. But we are doing our Christmas sampler blanket in these gorgeous colours of red, white and green. Now, this was our first one, our granny square. So that's going to be our first row. And then our second row is this gorgeous corner to corner in white. And then this, I'll just put it on the white table so you can see, is going to be our third square in the shape of a Christmas tree. Now, I will be posting a picture alongside this just to show you the stitches and where the stitches go, because this is slightly more complicated than anything that I've posted before. So I will be posting a picture so that you can follow it. But what I'm going to do is show you how to start the technique today, and then I'll post a picture so you can finish off the square, just so the video doesn't go on too long. Now, a couple of pointers before we start. This is crochet using a foundation chain. Now, one massive pointer I will say about foundation chains is when you crochet your foundation chain, use a bigger hook than the rest of your work. So as you can see, I've got 2 hooks here. So this is my 5mm hook that I crocheted my foundation chain out using, and this is my 4mm hook that I crocheted the rest of the square with. And the reason for that is if you don't, your piece of work will start to do this and it'll start to curl, because as you work stitches off your foundation chain tightens up. So if you use a bigger hook, that matters less. But if you use the same size hook as the rest of your work, it will make it start to curl. So that's a really big pointer. This is called, I think, either Filet or Filet stitch, and I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So I am absolutely loving this being part of our sampler blanket. So sorry, but it doesn't, sorry, I lost my train of thought then, but it does need a picture to go along with it. And the other thing to mention is I have come to the end of the stitches that I wanted to have in our sampler blanket. So I've come to the end of the 3 squares that I have designed. So if you have a stitch that you want me to do that can be made up into a square like this, please do drop it in the comments, because I'll be looking for ideas this week as to what we are going to do next week. So if you have a stitch that you really want to learn, then please do drop it in the comments below. Sorry, there was just a noise outside my house then, and I was wondering what it was. Now, in order to start our square off, we are going to chain 26 stitches. And I'm just going to demonstrate here what I mean by starting your work with a slightly bigger hook. So this is my 5mm hook that I've chained, done this foundation chain. I've started it already so the video doesn't go on too long. So I've chained 20 stitches, sorry, not 25. I've chained 20 stitches already. So I'll just chain the last 6 and then I'll show you where to go from there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then once you've chained your 26 stitches, take your bigger hook out and add your smaller hook in, and then chain the 3 stitches that make the first chain of your, oh, something happened there. There we go. Now it's fine. So then chain the 3 stitches that make up your first treble crochet, and then yarn over and do your first stitch into the 4th chain from your hook, as you would do normally with a treble crochet. Now, as you can see from our first row is just going to be simply 26 treble crochet. So I'm not going to do that here because we have already done treble crochet. So I'm going to put that to one side. And here's one in typical Blue Peter fashion. Here's one I started earlier. Get some more yarn. So here's one I started earlier. So I have chained, or I have done my 26 treble crochets, and I've got to the end, and I'm going to turn this piece of work. Now here is a little bit of a handy hint. As you will notice with many times when you do your three chains into your turning chain to make your turning chain, you will notice you'll have holes on the side of your work, and one way to stop that from happening is to do this technique that I'm about to show you. Now the way to stop that from happening is basically to not treat your turning chain as your first treble crochet. And the way that you do that is you chain 2 rather than 3, turn your work, and then you do your first treble crochet in the base in your very first chain, or in your very first stitch, which is at the base of that chain 2, and that is your first treble crochet. And then you would carry on treble crocheting as normal. Now as you can see here, we're going to do our first gap on this row. So for me, what I need to do is chain, excuse me, 12 stitches. Okay, so we're going to chain, sorry, no, we're not. We're going to chain 11. We're going to do 11 treble crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, sorry, I went off camera there. 10, 11. Now the reason I confuse myself is we are going to do another treble crochet, but that's part of our first fillet, which is what I wanted to show you separately rather than doing that treble crochet as a part of this bit. So to do your fillets, fillets, whatever, however you pronounce it, what you do is you do a treble crochet, you then chain 2, you miss 2 stitches, so miss this one and miss this one, and then you do your next treble crochet into the 3rd stitch along, and what that does is it creates a little box. So can you see it creates a little square hole, if you like, and then we're going to chain to the end of the row. Sorry, we're going to treble crochet to the end of the row. Now, because you crocheted your first treble crochet into the first stitch on your row, you do not need to take a stitch from your turning chain. If you do that, your work will start to grow because you're effectively adding stitches. So again, chain 2, turn your work around and do your first treble crochet into that first stitch along. Now we're on, oh, get it the right way up. So we're now on this row, and so we're going to do 2 treble crochets and then our first fillet. So this is 1, 2 treble crochets, and then we're going to do our first treble crochet for the fillet square. So treble crochet, chain 2, miss 2 stitches, so miss this and this one, and do your next treble crochet into your 3rd stitch along. Now instead of doing more treble crochets like we did here, we're actually going to do another filet. So what you then need to do is you simply then do another 2 chains, and then again miss 2 and do your next treble crochet into the 3rd stitch along. So you can use, for each square, you would only do 1 treble crochet in the middle, so you wouldn't do another one. So you've got 2 squares sharing 1 treble crochet in the middle. And again, we're going to do a 3rd one, so we're going to chain 2 again, miss 2 stitches along the bottom, oh sorry, my yarn's just split, there we go, and do our treble crochet into the 3rd stitch along. And we are now going to, this is the second part of the filet. So when you get to here, if you wanted to do another filet stitch, you would simply do your filet stitch into the stitch that makes up the other half of the filet stitch. So you would simply do it like that, and you would put your treble crochet that finishes this box on into the treble crochet that finishes this one. And in a slight change to the pattern, I might try that and see how it works. So I think that might work a little bit better. As you can see, I've done it as a block here rather than as a whole, but I will do it as a whole on this one and see how it works. So we'll just get some more yarn. And you're going to carry doing that for another 3 blocks. So chain 2, miss 2 stitches down here, treble crochet into the 3rd stitch along, chain 2, miss 2 along here, treble crochet into the 3rd stitch along, chain 2 again, miss 2 along here, and treble crochet into the 3rd stitch along. And then we're going to do two more treble crochets to finish off our row, and that's going to finish off our row. And then now you might notice, just as a little bit of an aside, that this is sort of curling slightly. So it might be, what you can do is, if you're finding that the chains are pulling your work in, what you could do is swap between hooks. So you could do your size 4 hook for the treble crochets, and then you could simply swap between your hook for the chains, and that would work absolutely fine. So I'll show you how to do that on the next row. So on the next row, we're going to do just 2 blocks, and we're going to do them in the 2 blocks in on both sides. Sorry, I couldn't find my words then. So again, chain 2, turn your work and do your first treble crochet into that first stitch, and then do treble crochets, 2 more treble crochets. Now here, instead of working into the stitches of your chains, what you're going to do is work into the chain spaces. So you put your hook in the chain space and crochet 2 treble crochets into that 2 chain space, and then do your 3rd treble crochet into the stitch that makes up the right hand side of the box. Sorry, I keep moving down here. Okay, and now we're going to do our fillet stitch. So we're going to chain 2 and work our 2nd treble crochet into the treble crochet on this side, and then we're going to do again what we did over here. Sorry, I'm just going to take out some more yarn. Let's get a good lot this time. And we're going to put our hook into that 2 chain space and do 2 treble crochets into that 2 chain space, and then do our 3rd treble crochet to make up our fillet in that stitch. I'm going to do the same thing again, and again. Okay, and again, do your treble crochet into the top of this treble crochet that finishes the fillet on the row below. And then we're going to do here, so we're going to do another fillet stitch. So we're going to chain 2 and do a treble crochet stitch into that treble crochet on the other side of the fillet, and then we're going to do a block, so 2 treble crochets into that 2 chain space, and then your last the 3rd treble crochet into the stitch that finishes the fillet block on the row below, and then 2 more treble crochets. Sorry, I meant to show you how to change between your hooks to the stitches, so we'll do another row so I can show you that. My apologies, I got sidetracked. So again, chain 2, turn your work, do your 1st treble crochet into that 1st stitch, and now we're on this row here. So we're going to move our hole, if you like, 1 block along into the middle. So excuse me, I'll speed up this part just so that we can get to the more exciting bit. So oh, sorry, I knocked the camera there. So now we're going to do another block. So 2 treble crochets into that 2 chain space, and then our 3rd treble crochet into the top of that stitch on the other side of the fillet. Now we're going to do our block our hole here. So I'm going to drop my 4mm crochet hook, and I'm going to pick up my 5mm, chain 2, and then swap hooks again, and then miss 2 stitches here and do my miss 2 stitches here and do my treble crochet into the 3rd stitch along. So, and then do 3 more treble crochets, excuse me, and then we're going to do another out hole here. So again, drop your 4mm hook, pick up your 5mm hook, chain 2, and then put your 4mm hook back in and do your treble crochet on the other side of your fillet stitch. My apologies, I seem to be running out of yarn. And then we're going to do another block into this hole here. So 2 treble crochets into that 2 chain space, and then your 3rd treble crochet into this stitch that makes up the the right hand side of your block, and then treble crochet to the end. And that is how we do our filet stitch. Now I'm not going to finish it, otherwise this video is going to go on forever. But as I say, I will put the picture of how to finish it on in the link. I think I'll put it in the description so that you can have the picture of how to finish it, so that you know how to finish it. But that is a way to stop your chains from sort of pulling your work in. As you can see, it's not doing too badly, and it is a little bit more faffy doing it using 2 hooks, but it might look a little bit better if your chains aren't pulling your work in. So that is what we're going to do for our 3rd row, and hopefully eventually you'll end up with a picture like this one. I'll just bring it more under the camera. I'll angle the camera slightly so it's more. And then we have our Christmas tree. So that is how we're going to do our 3rd row. And as I said at the start, please do comment on any stitches that you would like to see us do over the next couple of weeks, because I have come to the end of the ones that I'd planned. So please do comment in the comments below what you would like to see. Any questions, please do put them in the question box below, and I hope to see you on the next video. Bye.